Hi, my name is Lisa Petsu, and it is November 3rd, 2024. I'm an American-born abstract painter. I've always been attracted to the nuances of paint, surface, and layers in the material world. I grew up in northern New Jersey in a small town called Hamburg to a family of Italian, Irish, and Czech heritage. The Petsus were the weird side of the family, and my Czech grandfather would play Mozart while he made us liver and onions, and my aunts were very artistic. One of them was a visual artist, the other was a mad scientist. My Italian grandmother had no sense of humor, but gave me my resilience. And my Irish grandfather gave me my sense of humor. I think my ideas of imperfection as beauty came from my upbringing, both psychologically and materially. Our family was different and unique. My dad treated me like I was a boy, like I could do anything. I would work on cars with him. I would play in the dirt, make mud pies. He had such a sense of curiosity, and for bedtime stories would read us from Popular Science, from Nova magazine, from the medical encyclopedias that he had. On Sundays, we would watch home improvement shows and science shows, documentaries. He liked to take us roller skating on the weekends. Both my parents loved music. Music was a huge creative outlet for them. I had piano lessons and ballet lessons when I was a kid. My mother would not let me join Girl Scouts, so I don't know how to sew because I was going to have a career. But she would never call herself a feminist. We were lower middle class and learned how to fix things and how to make things better with a fresh coat of white paint, how to stack up plastic milk crates to create furniture, and in general, just be resourceful and learn to live with imperfections. So my work is inspired by the edge between the formal art space of galleries and the domestic architecture of personal life. I cultivate a spiritual connection to my materials, and I'm interested in the accumulation of color, time, emotion, and flashes of imperfect beauty on the canvas. Arlene Raven, a curator, once said that my contentious life of imperfection gives rise to ugly beauty and intricate reality in which all things do not neatly fit. And I thought that was a pretty good take on my work. I create idiosyncratic abstract paintings, and sometimes I intuitively am drawn to certain symbols or characters, such as an apple, an anthropomorphic apple, which is a stand-in for me, or a mountain, or a domestic decoration, an oak leaf, which I've always been drawn to as a symbol of strength. The oak tree is one of the strongest trees and can withstand lightning strikes, and a bow, an anthropomorphic bow, which points to ideas of feminism and humor. I think my work does have humor in it. I try not to take it or myself too seriously. I see materials in the world, layers of paint on walls, furniture, objects, and architectural details, and I'm fascinated by the idea of revealing, concealing, editing, cooling, warmth, imperfection, and ultimately transformation. Sometimes I use objects in my paintings, and I'm interested in bringing in the outside world and also interior personal space as extensions of the painted surface, reaching out into the real world. Color is as important as texture and other qualities in the materials. Color functions like the sense of smell. It triggers a memory or emotion. It registers time, place, and thing. Color is a connection that percolates emotion and idea in my painting. I redigest specific color and texture references from popular culture, nature, and my intuition onto the painting surface, recombining domestic, architectural, personal, and art elements to arrive at something that resonates with my experience in the world. My biggest influences are, and I have so many, because I love art and other artists. I love going to New York and looking at work. So, of course, Matisse and Van Gogh, Jasper Johns, Robert Rauschenberg, Joan Snyder, Mary Heilman, Merritt Oppenheim for her humor, whimsy, and uniqueness. Jessica Stockholder, she was one of the first artists that I saw that took sort of materials that I would see and live with when I was a kid, like those plastic milk crates and the plastic fruit and all of that stuff, you know, that you find in the sort of big box stores, where you can garbage pick on the street, and was putting them together to make art. And I really connected with that. Martha Diamond for her brushstrokes, Howard Hodgkin for his use of the frame and breaking out of the frame, Roger Armand, Suzanne Jackson, Franz West, Elizabeth Murray, Richard Tuttle, Sarah Z, very, very recently, Ida Applebrug, Josh Hagler. I just saw a show of his and it was epic. And the layering, the way that he layers paint is incredible. What I'm focusing on right now is actually my reemergence back into the art world and reconnecting with a lot of my art world colleagues, people that I went to school with, my great teachers. I went to SVA for my undergrad. I went to Bard for my graduate degree. And I been painting all along, really under the radar, raising a family. I have 4 children. I work full time. I'm the primary breadwinner. And so, you know, after showing my work in the late 90s, early 2000s, I started a family, continued to work full time, teaching art in the public schools, making work on my own. And now, 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with a devastating medical condition and thought that that was it. I was paralyzed from the left knee down. I lost the use of both hands and was told to get my affairs in order. But now I'm miraculously here and recovered and am painting with just like a fervor that is unreal. And so gratitude is my driving force. And so right now I'm in a group show in Montclair at a gallery called The Space. And the name of the show is Sovereignty, which I thought was such a great title. Every time I make a painting, I think it's an act of sovereignty. And I'm applying for grants and residencies and have a website finally after all these years. I just started to post my work on IG 4 months ago and am finding that to be really fascinating. So I'm really busy doing all of that, and I certainly have so much work that I've accumulated over the years. And so my main focus is I'd like to keep showing, and I certainly have enough work to have a solo show. So that would really be my main focus right now. I'm back in the studio working on a new series. So the biggest challenge, well, I think I kind of went over that. Being a mom, working full time, being the primary breadwinner, having a really challenging medical condition for about 5 years. All of that has been challenging. But, that's okay. What advice would I give to my younger self? Well, I would say trust in your intuition to guide you on your journey and always lead with gratitude. And read Don Miguel Ruiz's The Four Agreements. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take things personally. Don't assume. Always try your best. And read Rick Rubin's The Creative Act, A Way of Being. Phenomenal book. Do I listen to music? Yes, I totally listen to music. Music was a huge part of my childhood, and I have very eclectic musical tastes. Classical music from when I was a ballet dancer. I was a semi-professional ballet dancer while I was going to art school in New York. So I have a love of classical music. Ballet also gave me, also contributed to my ideas of perfection and imperfection and gave me a discipline. It gave me a real work ethic. And I have been working since I was 14. Like I said, I come from, lower middle class family, divorced family. My mom basically raised the three of us. And I had to work from 14, multiple jobs, and I've been working ever since. So, I have a really strong work ethic, which helps me, in my art, in my visual art as well. So I do listen to music when I'm doing preparatory work. It might be a podcast. It might be an Audible book from Audible. But when I'm actually painting, I'll listen to music, and it could be anything. It depends on where my energy is, intuitively what I want to listen to. A lot of times I sing really loudly, off key, scare the neighbors. I think they're used to it by now. Have you tried unconventional techniques? Absolutely. That's what I'm about. I'm just about pushing the boundaries of a painting and really kind of occupying that space between painting and sculpture. And I actually make sculptures as well. And I make paintings too. And then I make in-betweens. I use, funky paint combinations sometimes. I like experimenting with mediums. Most of the time, my underpainting will be in acrylic, and then I'll add oil on top. But it really just depends. I like to use found objects. Really anything I can get my hands on that I think resonates with that connection that I try to make between, art and life. When my kids were little, their toys, their whatever it is, their items, they have, kids have a lot of stuff, would work its way into my work. So it just depends on, what's going on in my house, in my household. I have a studio in my house and it's small, but, I have a couple of different rooms that I work in, and, I like it that way. It keeps that connection in the forefront, of my mind, at all times. And it's convenient. And with my busy life, it makes sense. And I'm able to just grab things and incorporate them in my painting pretty easily. What is the best reaction someone's had to my artwork? Well, the best reaction is when they like it and it resonates with them enough that they want to buy it and bring it into their home and live with it. That's honestly the best reaction somebody could have to my artwork. Recently on IG, somebody said, "This is so dope. It's the highest form of inspiration." That was great feedback. And when an artist that I really like, respect, admire their work, resonates with something that I'm doing, that really, that means a lot to me. And I know I'm kind of on the right track. also, when too many people like it, then I question it. Then I'm thinking, maybe it's not challenging enough. Maybe it's not occupying that space, that fine line between, is it too ugly? Is it, is it too pretty? Is it unresolved enough? Is it, too resolved? It's just that very fine line for me. So if too many people think it's great, then maybe I have to question that as an artist. And what do I hope people take away from my work? I hope that people resonate with the authenticity in my work and connect with the idea of imperfection as beauty in some way. I hope my weirdness, my Petsu weirdness, inspires their weirdness, that it opens up an acceptance of the perfectly imperfect material world and can offer up a small glimpse of energetic or emotional transformation and connection for them on a spiritual level. And that's what I can hope for, that it somehow gives people permission to say, hey, I want to try something like that. I want to pick up a paintbrush and, do something like that. I think that's a sign of a truly good painting, when it makes you want to go home and paint. And painting's always been that for me. Always. It's been an exhale for me. It's been an ah. And the other day I was painting with a preschooler at my job. I'm a teacher. I teach preschool through 8th grade art and writing. And I was painting with preschool, and it was the first time that this little girl was painting on an easel, and she dipped her brush in the paint and literally put a stroke on the paper and went, ah. And I thought, that's it right there. That's what it's about. It's the exhale. It's that moment of meditation, transcendence, connection, with the material surface, and then that essence of creation, right? That way of being. So thank you again for listening, for this opportunity. And once again, check out my Instagram, Lisa Petsu Art. It is brand new, 4 months old. I would appreciate any following, any liking, all of that good stuff, because I'm kind of late to the game. My online shop that I now have at lisapetsu.com. And thank you again so much. And feel free to reach out. Bye-bye.